for our main event, the tale of the tape between the rugged recent title challenger John Molina and the Russian unbeaten Andrey Klimov. Molina, slight advantage when it comes to height. Both fighters 30 years old. Molina's been tested far better and proven more as a pro. Klimov had a good amateur career in Russia. Both fighters previously trained by Joe Goosen down in Southern California. As we see John Molina Jr., 30 years old, 25-2 is his record, 20 knockouts. His last fight was on Friday Night Fights. It was a strong KO win, Danny Williams. In fact, let's take you back to 2 times that we've seen Molina in spots against good active fighters with speed. You remember what happened against Hank Lundy. Came on strong in the 8th round and then scored a TKO win. That got him into title contention. And then against Danny Williams, watch for the right hand. In the 4th round, the overhead right would end the night against Danny Williams. And for the first time, we get a look at Andrey Klimov coming into this fight having survived what many feels was a little home cooking and a gift back in Moscow. That was on March 8th. Got a technical decision against an Argentinian fighter. Had a bad cut that opened up over his left eye. In fact, Molina said, I'm going to go after that cut. You see the amateur career and all the success that he had, 130 wins. Teddy has the fight plan, brought to you by Corona Extra.
All right, I got rid of my jacket, so I'm ready for the fight plan. Well, I'll start with Molina. Molina's a physically stronger fighter with power. And where's the power? Well, you saw it in the tapes, but I'll tell you again, it's in the right hand. And usually you're the physically stronger guy, you have the power, that equates into you're going to be aggressive. So Molina's going to be aggressive in this fight with Klimov. He needs to understand now and have a scouting report of what Klimov does. Klimov's going to try to make sure that this doesn't land. And how's Klimov going to do it? Well, with his legs for the most part. In, out, in. Changing distance, trying to get Molina not to do this, but to do this a little bit, reach a little bit. So Molina doesn't want to do this. So what should he do? Feint a little bit. Act like he's going to come in, give a little feint, and then he will get Klimov to step back prematurely, too soon. So feint, get Klimov to step back, and then bang, 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 bang. Land the right hand. Now for Klimov, what does he have to do? Well, just what we talked about. Stepping out, using the jab a little bit, going in and out, but making sure he doesn't step out from too close. If he does it from too close, bang, he gets caught on the way out. So he's got to keep that distance a little bit, make sure that he keeps Molina at the end of his jab, and then step out at the right distance. And what he does, well, maybe get Molina to do that a little bit. You step out, bang, left hook. If Klimov can do that, well, boxer, puncher, watch, should be good.
A step-up fight for Andrey Klimov as Teddy has set the table for us. He's facing a contender, a recent title challenger in Molina, and looking to move to 16-0.
Wearing the black trunks with the green trim. He also weighed in at 137 1/2 pounds. He has a professional record. 25 wins, only 2 defeats, 20 big wins coming by way of KO. He is the current NABO lightweight champion out of Covina, California. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the Gladiator, John Molina Jr.
Nice reception for Molina here at the Little Creek Casino Resort. Bobby Howard is our referee for 10 rounds.
A good, clean fight. Shake him up, let's get it on. Fight with honor.
Molina's gone through a spectrum of emotions in the midst of some recent training. You go back to the fall. Remember, he had the title fight, which he was so disappointed with what he feels was a quick stoppage against Antonio DeMarco when he got hit by that straight left and then a series of punches. And that fight was ended in the first round. And then his wife gave birth on November 15th to a baby girl. 2 weeks later, his wife's mother passed away after her fight with cancer. So it's been that kind of a year for John Molina.
Can't judge a book by its cover, but sometimes you can get a chapter or two out of it and figure it by the cover. And looking at the cover of the two guys, you kind of get the idea, as I touched on in the fight plan, Molina's the stronger guy. You know, he just physically has more of a presence than the thinner Klimov. Klimov does a lot of bouncing with those feet. A lot of times he'll be looking.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is already. You must have heard me. You know, he'll go in and out like I illustrated, but he'll bounce in front. Now, if they did their work in the corner during the, if his trainers, Molina's trainers, I'm sure they did, he has good trainers, did their work looking at videotape, they made him aware of that in training camp. And what I would have said to him was, John, when you see Klimov bouncing in front of you, attack. Because when he's bouncing, he's not set to punch. He's not set to move his head. He has to come down and settle before he can do those things. Don't let him settle. You see a bounce, come forward. I think the jab can land. Now that Molina is prone to throwing a lot of jabs, but it can land with Klimov. Klimov's in front of you. And again, when he's bouncing, I think there's going to be plenty of opportunities to do that. Move your hands and maybe catch Klimov while he's bouncing. A lot of wasted movement. You know, you're seeing all this movement from Klimov, but is it educated? You know, is it effective?
Completely unnecessary.
Yeah, it's unnecessary. And again, I got a guy moving a lot like that in front of me. I'm in the corner of Molina. I'm saying, look, all that movement, don't let it hypnotize you. Use your jab, stabilize him. Shoot that jab out. Even if it's to Klimov's chest, shoot it out. Don't get caught up in that movement. Matter of fact, take advantage of him where he's not set while he's moving and dominate him, starting with that jab.
There's a double jab by the Russian.
You can see Molina has been in with better opposition. He shows you that with his demeanor. He's a little calmer. And you can see Klimov a little higher strung, a little more excited with this moment.
Reminder, head over to Facebook and the Friday Night Fight live scoring page to join in and score along with Teddy. Glad you're with us for Friday Night Fights, brought to you by Corona Extra. Not far away from that inlet is the Little Creek Casino Resort here in Shelton, Washington, where they have developed a really good fan base for fight nights here, just about an hour around the sound from Seattle. And we're glad to return to this magnificent facility. Round 2 of our main event scheduled for 10. Andrey Klimov and John Molina. John Molina now trained by Robert Garcia, who's been quite busy with Nonito Donaire and Brandon Rios, trainer of the year last year in boxing.
Yeah, this is a great casino, beautiful area, you know, beautiful country, and just well taken care of by all the people here. The CEO, Michael Starr, couldn't have his people treat us any better than they've treated us here. It's just a pleasure coming in. A beautiful facility, as we just said.
And then next week, we're heading back to our home base. We'll be in West Orange, New Jersey, as we change scenery just a little bit, going from the evergreens of Shelton to West Orange for next week's card.
If you didn't tell me, I wouldn't know the difference. No, but truly, not only is it beautiful here, but as I said, the people just couldn't be nicer to us, starting right from the top, all of Michael Starr, the CEO, all the way to every worker in the facility. And right now, the key word is work, and the fans here starting to show their displeasure, getting a little antsy, booing a little bit. They'd like to see more work, and we touched on it. Klimov, a lot of wasted movement, but not effective movement. There's an effective jab. And the reason he landed a jab on Molina, well, he's guilty of not doing enough either. Waiting in front. Right now, I think waiting too much and maybe allowing Klimov, who really hasn't been in this position in a big fight yet, allowing Klimov maybe to get rid of some of the nervous energy and settle down a little bit. If I'm Molina, if I was in the corner, I would have said, look, he's a nervous guy. Get on him a little bit. Take advantage of that. Don't wait till he starts to relax.
Yeah, Klimov first 10 fights were back home in Russia. Then he came to California and didn't accomplish much there. Just went on and continued with his win streak. And then most recently, back on March 8th, Teddy, he fought an Argentinian fighter named Mateus Gomez back in Moscow, and there was a bad cut that opened up over Klimov's left eye. And don't you know, back home in Russia, there was a 20-minute deliberation in the ring, the local commission discussing things with the referee, telling him it was a clash of heads. Most observers saw a punch, so of course they went to the scorecards, where Klimov happened to be ahead 70-63 on all three scorecards. Funny how that happens sometimes over there.
Unless you're the opponent, then it's not that fun.
No. ESPN Friday Night Fights, presented by Corona Extra, is brought to you by Just for Men Mustache and Beard, champions of facial hair. And in part by Rent-A-Center. With the Rack Flex plan, you can get 90 days, same as cash, with no credit needed. That's the state capital in Olympia, Washington. Just about 20 minutes away from where we are here in Shelton at the Little Creek Casino Resort. Beautiful couple days here in the Pacific Northwest part of the country as Friday Night Fights returns to the Little Creek Casino Resort. Round number 3 of our main event between Klimov and Molina. Molina has provided fireworks with bursts of offense throughout his history of appearing on our boxing series. Yet to see much so far early tonight.
You know, you mentioned it the last round. Klimov had a bad cut over his left eye in his last fight, and for me, probably not enough time for it to heal properly, and I think probably definitely not enough time to train properly, you know, get in enough sparring. Right now it doesn't matter. I mean, you don't see any anything bothering him as far as his timing or not having had enough sparring, because Molina is fighting at such a slow pace.
Right.
You know, those things wouldn't show themselves, but if Molina steps it up a little bit, maybe the lack of sparring, and I got to guess that Klimov couldn't do the normal amount of sparring. He had to wait and start a little late because of that headbutt. Or that cut, I should say, from the headbutt.
Did some of his training in California. Bernardo Osuna was listening into the corner of John Molina. Bernardo, what did you hear?
Robert Garcia was emphatic, telling John Molina, get to work. This guy's got no power or speed. You've got to cut off the ring, come in with your chin down, land some combinations. Don't give away any more rounds.
Thanks, Bernardo.
Molina has been in with the better competition. He should be behaving a little better early on. You know, with the confidence of that better competition. He's fought for a world title. Should be trying to be the boss a little bit more. Garcia's right. Obviously, going into this fight, Molina and his people were hoping that his experience with a better level of competition, and of course his right hand, would make the difference. But right hand can't make the difference if you don't go forward and throw it. And so far, Molina not throwing it.
You can see some red, some bruising up near the hairline, top of the right forehead of John Molina.
Well, Klimov has been involved in a lot of head clashes. I mean, he has a technical win because of a head clash in his career. He's been involved in quite a few fights. Matter of fact, his last 3 fights, Klimov has been involved in fights that have come from head clashes. Molina has also been involved a little bit, banging around with the head, so it would be no surprise if something comes a little red up top.
And now there's some blood coming from the left eye of the Russian.
So that's the eye that was cut badly.
Oh, it's a right hand. Looking to target that cut.
You know, I talked about on the top about Klimov having ants in his pants, or at least in his feet. And you can see someone right there bouncing, shaking a little bit. The only thing is Molina needs to take more advantage of that shaking, that bouncing, by being more aggressive.
Mike Rodriguez, the cut man for Andrey Klimov, went to work after that third round trying to deal with that left eye. We detailed early on here the situation that Klimov faced back in March. Teddy had talked about it. Going back to it, Molina said, I want to try to target that left eye. And in the third round, there was a punch that landed. Commission saying cause of now the cut on the left eye is from a punch from Molina.
Well, I said at the beginning, before there was any red, that I just didn't feel Klimov had enough time for that cut to heal. I mean, if I'm the trainer, quite honestly, I'm not sure I would have okayed this fight. Doesn't mean Klimov can't win it or won't go on to win it. But I don't think I would have okayed the fight. I would have given him more time for that to heal properly.
Into round 4, through 3 rounds. Teddy has it 29-28 for the veteran John Molina. You, the viewer at home, Klimov taking the first 3 rounds in the eyes of the viewers.
You know,
you can go to Facebook and click on the live scoring to join in.
I'm surprised the corner of Molina, at least from what I can see, they haven't implemented in the plan that I've seen so far any feinting. You know, I haven't seen Molina do any feinting to get that premature move of Klimov. You know.
You called for it in the fight plan.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know Klimov's going to use his legs as much as he can. So feint him a little bit.
He'll commit.
Yeah, commit. Get those legs out of the way. Let him make his move. And then go fill the space. Go find him. Instead of chasing him like that and falling into space. You know, coming up short. Touching air. You want to touch a body. So you feint him, you let him use his legs, and then you know exactly where you have to go.
CompuBox showing a slight connect edge for John Molina.
Again, no feinting by Molina. Legs being used by Klimov. I'm surprised. And I'm surprised Molina, a couple good body shots, not using the jab more, and he uses it there pretty well.
Oh, there's a left hook that sends Klimov back a step.
Well, now the physical advantage that we talked about of Molina, the strength, starting to show this round as the mouthpiece of Klimov goes flying.
Punch landed, mouthpiece went flying as Molina's on the attack. Klimov tries to meet him with a left hook. Molina sends a right to the body. Much better action here in round 4.
Now watch Klimov here, lands a good right hand to the body, but then makes the mistake of standing straight up in front of Molina. Take another look at different angle. Right hand to the body, good, not good. Then you stand up straight, you go straight back, and Molina, the more experienced fighter, we've been talking about it, knew what to do. Come back with a punch, don't get bothered by that body shot. Come back with a punch and catch Klimov pulling back.
Round 5 scheduled for 10. As Klimov looks to pick up the pace a bit, sending 2 left hands to the body, and now triples up that jab here in the early goings against Molina in round number 5. And working that jab again, trying to hold off the stronger, more powerful Molina. Molina has him against the ropes now.
Well, they do have a common opponent, and the common opponent results suggest, just like we have, that Molina is the better puncher. They both fought Jose Alejandro Rodriguez. Molina knocked him out in 3 rounds. And Klimov knocked him out in the 10th round. Took him longer. Maybe a sluggish start for Molina because of a little inactivity. 5 months since his last fight, not too bad. But go back 3 fights, he was off for a year. And Klimov, inactivity with him, only 2 fights, 2011. 2 fights, 2012.
Quit hitting in the back, John.
You know, we've been talking about the right hand of Molina. I mean, that's his forte. That's his signature punch, but body work would be called for too with Molina. I mean, you got a skinny guy. We keep talking about how Klimov's not physically strong. If you're the stronger bodied fighter, as Molina definitely is, no better way than to take advantage of that than to go to the weaker, skinnier body of the opponent. And for me, Molina should be doing more body work every time he gets close to the thin Klimov. You know, even though Klimov has no power, no pop, he's got plenty of heart. He's even staying inside where I don't suggest he should be with the stronger Molina, but he'll stay in there.
Using the jab well here. And Molina trying to keep him at bay can be a challenge as he keeps taking steps forward.
And just plenty of opportunities for Klimov. Yeah, they're mosquito bites, but, you know, a lot of mosquito bites can swell you up, Joe. And Klimov is, you know, putting a lot of bites on Molina this round. I mean, he's just touching him as he walks in. Molina walking in without the jab for the most part, not moving his head a lot. And there's been a lot of opportunities for Klimov to just pot shot a little bit.
Yeah, good effort here in the 5th. Foolproof Brunch of the Night is brought to you by Just for Men Auto Stop. Let's take you back to Farah Ennis against Anthony Hanshaw. This was in the 10th round. The knockdown scored by Ennis, who rallied late. The early goings of this fight with Farah Ennis, now 21-win victor, were really nondescript, and he had to step up, and he did so there as Molina now comes out pressuring a bit in round number 6.
Oh, Molina should be pressuring quite a bit. You're the stronger, more physical fighter, more experienced fighter. You fought for a world title. You've been in these spots before. You should be behaving like that, behaving like the boss, coming forward, using your physicality, trying to impose that on a much less physical Klimov. And for the most part, Molina has done it only in spots. And that's what, again, I'd be suggesting if I'm in the corner, Molina. Press forward behind your jab, get inside, and bang that skinny body. Take the legs away. You know Klimov likes to use the legs for defense. No better way to take some air out of those tires than to go to the body.
Klimov has scored with a few right hands here in the midst of this 6th round.
Well, that's what I mean. He's, you know, he's like that pestering mosquito that you swat at it, you think you hit it, and then next thing you know, it's buzzing in your ear again.
Molina firing off those bigger right hands, just missing the target. We know what happens when he does hit flush. Seen it before in our main events. Mouthpiece came out again from Klimov as Bobby Howard scooped it up and threw it over to the corner. So now a slight pause in the action, and they will replace the mouthpiece.
Now, there's only 2 reasons why right now the mouthpiece is coming out. There's usually 3 reasons. And one of them we can remove from the list. One is usually the fighter wants it to come out because he's looking for time. Maybe he's giving up a little bit. He's getting discouraged. That's not the case at this point with Klimov. It either doesn't fit right or he's having trouble breathing. He's starting to reach for air a little bit, and his mouth is open.
Yeah.
And again, that goes back to what I said earlier. I didn't think, Joe, he had enough time with that serious cut in his last fight to get the right amount of sparring.
And you can see at times his mouth open and he readjusts the mouthpiece. He'll push it out and then try to grab it back in.
Yeah, I'm going to guess.
There's a good pace here in this final minute of the 6th round.
I'm going to guess, again, that Klimov a little more winded than he usually would be this early in a fight. Probably didn't get a lot of rounds of sparring or the amount of rounds that he usually gets.
It's another combination from Klimov. Not damaging stuff, but touching him time and time again. end of the round, a chance to catch up with time.
Thank you, Joe. Earlier, we told you about the big fight tomorrow night in Montreal, but let us not forget about the West Coast tomorrow night as well. Argentina's hard-punching Marcos Medina faces Josecito Lopez in Carson, California. The two men weighing in today, Medina at 147 pounds, Lopez 145. They'll be squaring off in Carson, California, the same site where Josecito Lopez broke Victor Ortiz's jaw for the biggest win of his career. Here's a look at the tail of the tape. Yesterday, Medina said, if Lopez is willing, this is going to be a total slugfest from start to finish. I can't wait. Very similar stats. Look at Medina's knockout ratio. 30 of his 33 wins have come via knockout. Now back out to our live main event in Washington. Joe and Teddy standing by.
Andrey Klimov has responded well after John Molina had that big left hook in the power right in the fourth round, had a nice bounce back round in the fifth, and then that was a very entertaining sixth round and competitive round from both guys. And now on to round number 7 of our main event. Klimov, the 30-year-old unbeaten Russian, against Molina, the recent title challenger and popular California-based veteran.
You know, after his knockout loss to DeMarco, Molina left Joe Goosen as his trainer and went to Robert Garcia, who's his trainer now. Klimov also trained for a little while with Joe Goosen, so
About the same time in their careers as well.
yes.
That's when Klimov came over from Russia and started fighting in California back in early 2011.
Again, I was suggesting at the conditioning of Klimov the last round when the mouthpiece went flying. How good is that conditioning? I look at his weight also. Came in his heaviest, Joe, in 3 years. So you wonder about how Klimov's conditioning will serve him down the stretch.
Molina trying to get around that left flank, short right hand from Klimov. Molina comes back.
You know, you could make a good argument that Klimov's the busier guy. You know, again, he throws those feather duster punches, but he's always throwing them for the most part. Molina, not that he's not busy, but not as busy as Klimov, but more effective when he does land.
Boy, Molina's really targeting the body there.
But again, Klimov always letting something go out, and a lot of times he's catching Molina as Molina pursues him.
Been a series of right hands to the body from Molina here in round 7. As look at that, doubling up the jab, consistent, pesky punching from the undefeated Andrey Klimov.
And a lot of that pesky punching is when Molina is just going after him. You know, every time Molina walks after him, Klimov seems to be touching him with something. And there's a reason for it. Molina coming in like you see right there. Not moving his head, not jabbing, just walking straight in and allowing Klimov to have success in those moments.
Another right to the body. These are the titleists at 135 pounds. Ricky Burns has the BO belt, and if John Molina can maintain his status with a win tonight, he would be lined up to be a mandatory for Ricky Burns down the road. Of course, Adrian Broner at 26-0 has a fight coming up on June 22nd against Paulie Malignaggi.
I think Klimov is better served when he's on the outside. You would figure that, not being as strong as Molina. But maybe one of the reasons he's been inclined to go inside with Molina, besides that he has a pretty big heart and he doesn't mind engaging a fighter, maybe one of the reasons Klimov's going inside is he really is the bigger guy in his career. First 9 fights were junior welterweight for Klimov. Then he dropped to lightweight. Well, Molina has been a lightweight, Joe, his whole career. So maybe being a bigger guy is giving Klimov what I think would be the false illusion, the false sense that he should be inside with Molina, when I think he should be outside. You know, throwing those little taps and throwing them where there's a little space. And when there's space, a lot of times Molina will walk right into something. Big right hand a moment ago by Molina, but didn't really land, but it made a little noise.
Molina trying to come forward. That right hand was partially blocked.
See, there's the opportunities back home. Just watch whenever there's a little separation. Then you're going to wonder. You're going to say, you know what, Teddy, I think you're right. How come his corner is not demanding from Klimov to have more separation? Every time there's separation, Klimov's the better guy. He catches Molina walking into punches.
He's had that little left-right when there was separation moments ago, as you see Garcia watching on to his charge, John Molina.
What he should be telling his charge, I think, is you get close, go to that body, that skinny body, as we said, and come in behind your jab. Don't just walk in straight.
Don't wait, there you go.
Right hand, left uppercut, back to the body with a right hand. Molina trying to work on the inside here. Now a little bit of separation. Klimov with a right hand, touching him again. Not heavy-handed or effective, but working consistently from the middle rounds onward here.
Is there a swamp around here? Because the mosquitoes out.
No, they sure are.
And Molina's getting bit.
Klimov with just little bites. Coming to the end of round number 8. Chance for us to give you the May look back of Friday Night Fights. Enjoy it.
I'm throwing left hand. Not ready to go. Oh, he goes down.
With what? The left hand.
Delvin on the attack. That's a bad cut. There's blood everywhere. No cut, no blood. Delvin throws a right hand, and there's blood, Teddy.
After seeing the replay, 2 punches landed, so therefore it's going to be TKO stoppage.
I'm ready for war. Everybody put your hands up. My nigga down in the trenches. I'm feeling no storm. We're here to shake down. Never gonna break down. Nothing on the game. I'm running to the front line. Never scared. So you better be prepared when we come full swing. Yeah. All that I know is that we won't fall until we're gone. Now totally quest live. Now you got me. The flow is one of a kind. Not too sloppy. Wanna have my memory high like you rock me. Throw them hands up in the sky if you got me. Warriors.
Recent world title challenger John Molina getting up off the stool as we continue on in our main event, as he's trying to line up another chance to fight for a belt, but he's got to get through Andrey Klimov, the undefeated Russian. Teddy, we just had a conversation after that 8th round, and I think some of these rounds, really since the 5th round onward, when Klimov had that good bounce back round after Molina showed some heavy hands in the 4th round, have been the same. It's been Klimov working, boxing, touching, maybe not the most effective heavy-handed stuff, and Molina pressuring, taking steps forward, trying to be the boss, be more the aggressor. Hard to score.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Joe. I mean, the guy throwing more, I alluded to it earlier, I thought it was going to be Klimov, and I think it has been Klimov throwing more, but obviously not big telling punches or effective punches, but touching up Molina. And Molina, for the most part, pushing the fight, pressing the fight, but not always effectively. When he does land to the body, a couple times to the head, they are the harder punches, but are there enough of them?
Box out of it, guys. Box out of it.
And on the other side, do the judges have enough appreciation for what Klimov has done in some of these rounds? You know, examples like what you see right there, just a little bit of space and touching him with the jab, touching him with the right hand, as Molina then comes and tries to close that gap and works on the inside.
And again, I've been saying it all night. If I'm in the corner of Klimov, I'm telling him, get some separation. You have plenty of opportunities to really do what you have to do, and Molina does it for you. Just watch. Molina just walks into punches. Look at him. He just walks forward. He's not coming in with a jab. He's squared up. That means he's giving you a lot of surface to attack, and he's not moving his head. Get separation, and for the most part, just stick your hands out, and Molina's going to help you a little bit. But when Molina does get close, you know, he's smart enough to move those hands and try to steal the action a little bit with the judges. This round, I think, is a Klimov round. I'll be honest with you.
Watch your heads, guys.
I know the guy coming forward is Molina, but for me, Klimov has been the one who has touched him a little bit more.
You'll have one round to go as we will listen in to the corners. That's brought to you by the United States Marine Corps.
You got to fight it. We need this round big. Tell him we need it. Hey, box, box, jab, jab, right hand. Jab, jab, right hand, left foot. Jab, jab, right hand, left foot. When you get inside, work, work, work. Fucking throw combination.
I talked to a fight plan that Molina should feint first and then come forward. I don't know if this is really a feint, maybe a poor man's version of it, but he lunges a little with the left hand. It works like a feint. It gets Klimov to move prematurely. You can see Molina stepped in with the right hand. Purpose.
Around from Little Creek Casino Resort. Klimov trying to stay unbeaten. Molina trying to stay the course to get another chance to fight for a belt.
Watch your heads.
It's a right hand from Klimov. Molina steps forward again.
Great.
Again, there's separation. And I know they're those little gnats, those mosquito bites, but, you know, you still got to put alcohol on them. They sting a little bit. They mark you up a little bit. And they can win rounds for you. And I think Klimov has won some rounds. Nipping and tucking at Molina as he just walks forward. No jab, squares up, and just follows Klimov around. Look at the opportunities for Klimov just to pick up little shots.
Watch your head. Watch your head.
I would have expected a little more from Molina. You know, more behind that jab. Maybe a little more ferocious in his attack to the body, that skinny body.
Box out of there, guys.
96-95, Molina, says Teddy. What about the viewers at home? Facebook, you can score along. They got this thing a runaway for Klimov with some, but very close rounds in the midst there. So the fans at home giving Klimov the credit for boxing and touching Molina. Should be interesting to see what the judges come up with.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I don't have it that. But I'm probably, when this is over with, I'm going to drink the same thing they're drinking. You know, have one of those cold ones that maybe our fans are having while they're watching this. But one thing I give credit to the fans at home, and I agree with this, they are seeing these little mosquito bites. And I give them all the credit in the world for seeing that. They're seeing the little touching that Klimov is doing. You know, those little shots, constantly working, constantly moving his hands, constantly being a pain in the you-know-what to Molina.
There's a good example right there.
And I'm just wondering if the judges have seen it. I'm sure they haven't seen it the way the fans at home have seen it, but I wonder if they've seen it enough.
Right to the bell, right through the bell, and we will see which way it goes. Does Klimov stay undefeated? Can the Russian get to 16-0? Or was the more aggressive John Molina the victor in staying the course to a title shot? ESPN Friday Night Fights, presented by Corona Extra, proud sponsor of Friday Night Fights, and as always encourages you to relax responsibly. And in part by Just for Men Mustache and Beard, champions of facial hair. The event center here at the Little Creek Casino Resort in Shelton, Washington. Tremendous host for Friday Night Fights, and they had a good night of action. It'll be interesting to see which way this main event goes. Teddy's got it 95-95, a draw. The fans at home scoring along on Facebook favored the Russian, Andrey Klimov. Let's find out as we send it to the ring to Barry Egan.
Then how about a big round of applause for these two valiant warriors? To the scorecards we go. Judge Krebs scores the bout 95-95. Judge McDonough scores the bout 97-93. And Judge Walton scores the bout 96-94. For the winner, by majority decision, from Klimovsk, Russia, Andrey Klimov!
You know what, Teddy? I think that was really good ringside judging. One guy having it a draw, the other one seeing what you saw most of the night and the fans saw most of the night.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the fans saw a lot more of it than anybody else did, but I gave the fans credit for at least seeing it, and I give the judges now credit for seeing it and seeing enough of it, which quite often around the country, we're usually saying that the judges have not seen what has happened in the ring. Tonight they did.
Nice job by the Washington Commission here, and Klimov 16-0, and a disappointment for Molina, who thought that he could get a shot as a mandatory title challenger. A good night here in Shelton, Washington at the Little Creek. We will be in West Orange next week. For Teddy Atlas, Bernardo Osuna, Todd Grisham, and the entire crew, I'm Joe Tessitore. We'll see you next week on Friday Night Fights. Enjoy baseball tonight, right now.